All right, guys, welcome back to day two. Thanks for not quitting on me. And I feel like that deserves a celebratory song. I won't make you listen to the whole thing because that would be torture. All right, do now for the day. Giant clams, the largest clams in the world, can grow to be more than 4 feet long. I know, right? Giant clams can be found near Pakistan in the Arabian Sea. In which ocean? If you're not sure, here's your hint. While you figure out that hint, let's listen to the beautiful musical stylings of MC Hammer. All right, if you said Indian Ocean, you're 100% correct. Today we're going to start a new unit on the continent of Asia, and here's what those giant clams look like in real life. Learning target for the day, I can describe the regions of Asia. Because this continent is so big, we're going to break it up into parts, and then we're going to study each part as like a mini unit. You'll know you're successful if you can use your notes to correctly identify unique physical and cultural aspects of each region of Asia. Today is March 31st. By the end of the week, you need to finish all of this. Make sure you're on track to finishing all of that stuff. Today, just finished Regions of Asia Part 1 exit ticket. The reason why this is crossed off is because we did it yesterday. All right, this is normally where I say turn and talk to the person next to you while I hand out some papers. But because I cannot physically hand you those papers, we're going to have to set up our papers ourselves. As you watch this video, you're going to be taking notes. You're going to write down the underlined information on a sheet of line paper. If you'd like, you can type it up on a Word doc or a Google Doc. So go ahead and take a minute to set up your notes. If you're using a sheet of line paper, it'll probably look something like this. Start by putting the learning target at the top because that's going to be our topic. I can describe regions of Asia. Put the class, so you can keep it organized from your other classes, global studies, and put today's date. We're going to talk about 6 different regions. Today, we're just going to talk about 3. So as we talk about each region, put the name of the region as your heading, so it should be nice and close to the pink line. I like to put this little arrow by my heading so they stick out even more. And then I write my questions right underneath the arrow if I have any on this side of the pink line. You do not have to include the arrow if you don't want to. As you write down your underlined information, I would make sure that they're bullet points and it's indented to the right of that pink line. That way it's easier to find that information and it looks more organized. Remember, these are your notes, so you can shorten anything you'd like as long as they make sense to you. So if you know that AKA stands for also known as, feel free to shorten these notes. Here are those 6 different regions. The 3 we're going to talk about today are right here, and we've already studied 2 of them, so it's going to be super easy. First, we're going to start with Northern Asia. So make sure you put Northern Asia as your heading. The underlined information is the stuff that you need to write down. That stupid thing's in the way. To make it easier for you guys, so you kind of know what underlined information should be a single bullet point, I've included some color coding. I'll hide that. So the light blue will be a bullet point. The purple will all be a single bullet point. The orange will also be its own bullet point. So you'll have Northern Asia as the heading, and you will have 3 separate bullet points. So Northern Asia is Siberia, which we've already talked about. You guys know that it's cold there. There's tundra, permafrost, that permanently frozen ground, and the boreal forest, which is made up of pine trees. So it looks something like that on the top right. Because of this cold climate, not a whole lot of people live there. If you look at the map on the lower right, you'll notice that that's a population density map. The more color there is, the more people there are living in that area. The less color, the less people. Siberia is pretty much that part that is just blank, that's all white, because it's so cold, nobody really lives there. If you need more time to write down the information, put the video on pause. When you're finished, push play. Southeast Asia. So there should be a separate heading on your slides, on your notes. Remember, the colors stand for different bullet points. So this is a bullet point. This is a bullet point. This is a bullet point. This is all its own bullet point. And this orange stuff is its own bullet point. Southeast Asia is also known as the Middle East, which you guys studied right before break. You guys know that it has mainly desert land cover there and a lot of oil. It doesn't have a whole lot of other resources like fresh water or any other natural resources, but it has a boatload of oil. Most people who live in this area follow the religion of Islam. People who follow this religion are called Muslims. Muslims follow the 5 pillars of Islam, which among other things include praying 5 times a day, giving to the poor, fasting during Ramadan, and making a Hajj or a religious pilgrimage or trip to Mecca if possible. I actually heard on NPR yesterday that they're being urged not to make their pilgrimage to Mecca this year just because of the whole coronavirus thing. So this is just an expansive virus that's affecting everybody, not just people going to school. If you need more time to write down your notes, make sure you put your video on pause, push play when you're ready. All right, this is the brand new region, Central Asia. This area is known for steppes, which are grasslands, and those look like this. Ooh, ah. It also has some arid land cover, dry desert, so it might look something like this or this. It has a history of nomadic people, which means they move from place to place because they worked as herders. Because this land cover looks something like this, farming is kind of difficult and sparse, which means people would move from place to place, raising their animals, letting them graze in areas like this. Once all that grassland was eaten up, they'd move on to the next place to allow it to grow back for next year. Also, due to the limited resources, people relied on trading. So they couldn't make and grow everything they needed, so they needed to trade with other people who had those items. The Silk Road was not actually a road made out of silk. It was the name of an ancient trading route that stretched from Turkey, right over here, all the way to China. This allowed people from this region to trade in order to make up for their limited resources. As a result, many people living in Central Asia today are still of Turkish descent, which means their ancestors came from Turkey. If you need more time to write down the notes, put the video on pause, push play when you're ready. All right, so that's it for our notes. Here's what you need to finish today. Review the video if needed to complete any of the notes. Then use these notes to complete the Google form, Asia Overview Questions Part 1. The notes will not be graded, but the form will. If you have any questions, be sure to message me on Schoology, email me at my school email address, or text the following number. I'm going to show you guys how to access the form. Go to your Schoology, go to your Global Studies course, go to your Day 2, March 31st, 2020 material, and it will be the file that says Asia Overview Questions Part 1. Go ahead and start taking that form. When you're finished, hit submit, and it'll let you know your score right away. Good luck.